they actually Despicable Me headphones?
They got Groot on the side.
What are you talking about?
Your headphones, Despicable Me. Brand.
It's not even a brand.
Despicable Me. Dr. Dre is a
Keeping it real, sponsored by Despicable Me 2.
Dr. Dre actually prefers Minions over the Despicable Me films.
Dr. Dre does.
They're all an absolute pile of shit anyway.
Wait, Dr. Dre prefers Minions or Jack does?
No, Dr. Dre.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Well, thank God we're talking about the same thing.
Jack can't stand Minions. Have you heard him talk about it before?
I fucking hate them.
I can tolerate them for about 5 minutes, and then I'm incredibly irritated.
I've tried to watch Despicable Me like 4 times, and I've fallen asleep all 4 times.
They're not great.
They're shit. They're fucking shit. I don't want to talk about them.
All right, then. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Keeping It Real podcast, where every week we talk all things movies and TV. I'm your host, James, and I'm joined by Jack and Calvin today to talk about Edgar Wright's Last Night in Soho. An aspiring fashion student, played by Thomasin McKenzie, is mysteriously able to enter the 1960s, where she encounters a dazzling wannabe singer, played by Anya Taylor-Joy. But the glamour is not all it appears to be, and the dreams of the past start to crack and splinter into something darker. It's been a what are you laughing at?
Did you read that as a question?
Did I what?
Saying grace.
I was laughing at Calvin doing his pre-pod prayer. He was doing it for whatever reason, and he obviously saw that I was sniggering and then decided to keep doing it.
Lord, carry us through this criticism. So it's actually been a while since any of us saw Last Night in Soho.
I've never seen it, mate.
What?
3 stars.
Just being Calvin then. But Calvin, I'll start with you because I'm hoping you'll jog my memory on what the fuck happened in this film. So give us your spoiler-free thoughts on Last Night in Soho.
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed it. I went into it expecting sort of less because since Edgar Wright did Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz, he's not really resonated with me. I mean, Baby Driver, I just didn't really like at all. I mean, I've only seen it once, so I should probably watch it again. But I feel like the hype surrounding that film sort of ruined it for me because it wasn't as good as everyone was saying.
I think the thing about Baby Driver is it's too like cute, and it's too almost like I feel precise in what it's trying to achieve, and I don't enjoy it.
I think Edgar Wright's someone who gets bogged down in his influences quite a lot. He obviously knows, like, the man's like a cinephile. He absolutely knows everything about films, and he knows everything about music. And I feel like Baby Driver is him just throwing that all at a wall.
Yeah.
Where I feel like this, his influences, he does wear them on his sleeve, but he doesn't indulge in them so much that it becomes like just essentially loads of references.
Because I feel like
part of why I enjoyed this film as much as I did was because of the somewhat little nods to 60s films, such as like Roman Polanski's Repulsion, which seems to be a big influence on it, and Peeping Tom. I kind of liked that this film was almost like pulpy in that way, but whilst having its own sort of modern twists. It felt very Edgar Wright whilst feeling less like him. It didn't have his, like, for me, it didn't feel like it had loads of his trademarks, which I feel like but it also did. If it feels like quite a good thing, like it wasn't just like, oh, here's everything I know about films and a nice little choppy sort of, do you know, he does those segments of little choppy, I can't explain what they are, but he edits, he has shots and edits them in such a way that everything goes like really, really fast.
Oh, so like in Shaun of the Dead, when they're on about like killing.
It works in Shaun of the Dead, but the big example is, which I actually find, he does like those visual jokes.
Yeah.
In Baby Driver, he keeps doing it with the sort of car wheels spinning and closing doors and
I get what you mean.
I don't think this film really had any of that. It still felt like an Edgar Wright film. Everything, he always has like characters who feel like almost not real but they're like, that's the way he wants them. It's like sort of Phil, what's the actor's name in
In what?
Bill Nye.
What? Yeah, Bill Nye is character.
Yeah.
Phil doesn't. He seems like such a ludicrous character. He doesn't seem like a real person. And I felt like the same was with Terrence Stamp's character in this, and I quite enjoyed. As much as there were a few plot holes with his character in this, I still enjoyed it. Yeah, I was actually pleasantly surprised by it. There were moments where it felt like corny, but I feel like this style of film, like a sort of 60s backward looking film, that sort of works for.
Yeah. Jack, what do you think?
So are we doing spoilers?
Not yet, no.
Oh. Well, all in all, well, it's all in all, I liked it, but most of my issues were to do with like the story, and I have to spoil it, so I can't really tell you what any of my issues are.
Okay, so you liked it?
I thought the places where it let me down, I thought it was quite predictable in two aspects, which I'll go into like later on.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Thomas and McKenzie was really good.
Yeah.
How old is she?
I want to say early 20s.
Because how old is she in like Jojo Rabbit? Like 14 or something?
No, she'll be like 18.
Yeah,
really?
She's old. She's older than him, like in Jojo Rabbit. They make a point of it.
That's like, I mean, it's not an issue, but like watching this film and like the themes surrounding it, she looks so young. Like I think it's crazy.
Well, she's at university in this film.
I know. Yeah, I still think she looks like
she's playing an 18-year-old.
Yeah,
yeah, but yeah, I really like. I'm not a horror person, and this didn't feel like I didn't feel like a horror really, apart from fuck's sake, things that happen that I can't talk about.
the anger on his face then when he realized he couldn't say what he was about to say.
Fuck. We didn't fight in wars for me to be censored on my own podcast.
You didn't fight in any wars.
Move on.
Right.
I can't say anything without fucking talking about it.
Yeah, I liked this. I thought it was decent. I really dug the first half. I thought the vibe of the film and the tone that Edgar Wright struck, I thought was brilliant. I liked how we were transitioning from modern day back to the 60s. I thought that whole connection was cool. I'll get into it later, but I thought what they should have used the connection for a different story, perhaps. My problem with the film is where the more genre elements start being introduced. It really didn't work for me. The horror stuff, visually, maybe that's part of it. It didn't appeal to me, and obviously this is it's being marketed as a murder mystery, and the mystery of it didn't really grab me because I predicted the twists quite early on. Yeah, but shall we get into spoilers, because I feel like we're dancing around a lot here.
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed the sort of when it got to the supernatural aspects of it, because I think it made sense, because at the beginning of the film, when you see her dancing around her bedroom, what she's doing, she sees her dead mother in the mirror. I was like, okay, I was like, okay, I see where this is going. She's got a sixth sense. So I was immediately waiting that she's constantly, and then I immediately guessed, she has the sixth sense, which sends her back to the 60s, and she can see like dead people and stuff. So I was already expecting that, and actually, I just rather enjoyed it. Like all that stuff of the what were they? The wraiths, the dead
ghosts,
horrible men wraiths. Yeah, things. Yeah, I think they served the purpose
ghouls.
Of sort of pushing her further into like sort of unsuspecting madness, I guess, that everyone around her thinks she's like. I think you need physical manifestations of what she's seeing that other people aren't seeing, because otherwise she just, if you don't see anything and she's just going crazy, you're just thinking, well, she is mad. And
it wasn't so much like,
want to make the distinction very early on that no, she there is supernatural goings on here. She has a sixth sense, but then it also plays into her mental trauma as well. I just feel like that was weaved in quite well.
I thought she played her terror brilliantly. She was a very good performance in this. I think what my problem was with all the ghosts and stuff, it's just that's not where I wanted the story to go, and I like that is a massive problem for me because my issue is changing the whole narrative of the film entirely, sort of keeping that gimmick of going back to the 60s, but maybe using it in a different story. I just didn't find the murder mystery angle very enthralling. It didn't get me because I clocked on quite early that Diana Rigg was playing an older version of Anya Taylor-Joy.
Oh yeah, I knew that as well, but I always think with twists, people are always let down by twists when they either if they come out of left field or if they've guessed it. But I feel like if you guess it, that was actually the intention, because they were the ones that come out of left field are the worst because they're the ones that don't work because
there's no indication of that being.
But I always think the best twists are the ones always in the back of your mind that you know are there. Like I feel like they did an all right job at sort of, for me personally, like that this murder did happen, like they're throwing you sort of like away from the trail slightly. It's only when it comes back, like you see Diana Rigg's character, everyone probably assumes, oh, that's probably an older version of her. But then you see the murder scene and her actually dying, and then you're like, okay, they're veering off here. So then you're thinking of all the other reasons. But then the Diana Rigg thing comes back round, and then you're thinking, oh, but I knew this from the start. But it's not about you not knowing it from the start. It's about they can sort of bring it back around because you forgot about it. I feel like that's when you do a good twist, that they've convinced you, well, they convinced me that she actually got murdered. So now I was sitting there like, wait, but I was so sure that Diana
that's her. Yeah.
And then they brought it back round, and I was like, there we go.
I think it was so prevalent in my mind that she was that character that when we did see the murder scene, I was like, nah, it's not real. And I think I was thinking about it too much. Maybe I wasn't really in it.
Yeah, I was just along for the ride. I wasn't massively trying to figure things out. I tend not to do that. If there's like twists and stuff, I like to just sort of I think everything's going to be revealed by the end anyway. So I might as well just sort of sit here and experience it. Terrence Stamp's character was an interesting one. I loved the way he played it. He was so creepy.
Yeah. Oh.
But then I also think he was saying stuff to her that was like, no, okay, if you're a police officer or not. Like, I know where you live.
Yeah.
Like, is that something police officers say? And like make threats, and like he was still a weird guy.
Well, because I think they were trying to throw you off. They were trying to be like, this is older Matt Smith. This is older Matt Smith. So that's why he's being a bit creepy. Yeah.
I actually believed that it was him. And then when they sort of made the reveal that he was the police officer, I actually enjoyed that. I was actually like smiling, like, oh yeah.
That bit did surprise me, to be fair. I was too focused on Diana Rigg. I wasn't even thinking about Terrence Stamp. But until Sam Claflin appeared for 30 seconds, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, that really annoyed me.
He wouldn't be in this.
Because, I was like, I thought it was Matt Smith to begin with. Like,
he's supposed to, yeah.
And then as soon as you see Sam Claflin, I was like, well, he's only here to be memorable. He's literally only here so I remember who he is.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was Sam Claflin, so it didn't even get me.
Oh,
like, I didn't even know.
It took me to
I was thinking the entire time, man, this guy looks like Henry Cavill. Like, who is this guy? This guy needs to get a real acting gig.
Yeah.
Like, I've never seen him before.
I was like looking at him.
Finico Dare.
Yeah. He's one of those people, like, I was looking at him and I was like, is that Sam? I was like, that's Sam Claflin. And then I was like, is it though? And then like it took me to like the end of the scene and until to convince myself, I was like, no, it was. It definitely was.
The entire time I was like, this man has like movie star quality. Yeah, he needs to get some roles. I didn't even know
this man's only got 45 seconds of dialogue.
You get cast in an adaptation.
Popular Matt Smith,
popular YA novel.
I think the transport into the 60s are like, I love that. The first 40 minutes of the film, I was like, okay, I get maybe like Edgar Wright is a very backward looking guy. He always has influences from other films and so on. So I was like, oh, is this going to be like just all his nostalgia for the 60s? in one film, but I enjoyed that, you know, the way the plot goes in terms of like sort of misogyny and stuff. I actually think he did quite a good job at sort of being like, yeah, we always say that we want to go back to the 50s and 60s,
but do you really?
Yeah, there was a lot of awful stuff going on then. I think he did a really good job to sort of convey that. And the bit at the end of the film, everything's fine, and she still sees dead people, which is fine, I guess. And then she gets her own fashion show, which is still about the 60s, which I thought was a weird one, because now she's sort of learned through these weird sixth sense visions she's had that the 60s isn't everything she thought it was.
Let go.
And I also thought it was weird for the university to keep her enrolled when she almost stabbed a girl in the eye with scissors in the public library. I thought...
I said that at the end. I was like, are we going to forget that? Are we going to forget that?
In her defense, though, Jocasta, she was a right cunt.
Yeah, maybe
in her
defense, she was
the
fucking
worst.
Yeah, the university board were fine with it. They were like, "Oh, we were going to get rid of her anyway. We're going to oust her."
Yeah.
But, oh yeah, what was Thomas and Mackenzie's like love interest called?
I was just about to bring him up.
I was literally just about to bring him up
because
I wanted that man to be able to get the world. He was the nicest person ever.
He was the nicest person. He was the worst actor.
Yeah, he wasn't great.
What the hell?
He was a great guy.
But just operating on a completely different level to everyone else in this film.
Yeah, he was just happy to be there anywhere. Where was he?
It's like he got cast by accident, and he was like, "I'm not going to waste this. I'm going to smile my way through every fucking scene."
Then he gets shanked.
He never
by Diane Rigg
smiling, even when he was bleeding out on that woman's floor. He never stopped smiling. He was having a great time.
Everything that happened in that film was like a misunderstanding for him. No, there must be an explanation. And then when he gets fucking stabbed, it wouldn't have surprised me if he was on the floor being like, "No, there must be a mistake. This hasn't happened."
Do we think that Diana Rigg poisoning Thomas and Mackenzie in this was a Game of Thrones nod? I definitely think it was.
Oh,
Joffrey moment.
That's
possible. All I could think of was when she said when she sort of gave her the tea. I was like, oh, okay, she's
big coincidence, if not.
Yeah, she's doing this again, is she?
What I wanted to say before about how I thought the story should have been different. Honestly, I prefer this film without all the horror elements. I like the connection to the 60s, like that bridge. I thought that what was Thomas and Mackenzie called? Ellie. I feel like she should have maybe been going through something similar in her life to what Sandy was experiencing in the 60s, and through their connection through time, Eloise sort of overcomes her own modern day problems, and it helps her succeed through art school. And
but she's already
she wanted to go to art school.
She's already been through a lot. She's already dealing with a lot anyway. I think the stress, like all the stuff from her past, she's like dealing with mental health.
Well, now she's seeing fucking ghosts, so I think my option would have been better for her.
Yeah, but like, she's already struggling.
So I feel like to put her through any more would have been too much.
Yeah.
Put her through any more? What did she go through in this film?
Yeah, well, you wanted to put her through more.
No, I want to take away all the ghosts. I want to get rid of all that shit.
Well, just get her pimped out. But
not pimped out, but something sort of like that.
Well, that's the set. Well, that's what happened to Anya Taylor-Joy. She's pimped out.
Yeah, but how would
maybe she's having struggles with a boy, stuff like that. Instead of this weird
he keeps trying to pimp her out.
He was trying to pimp her out, and she learns through Anya Taylor-Joy's experience.
Yeah.
Like, no,
they'd have had to recast that bloke because he wouldn't pimp anyone out.
He's the nicest bloke alive.
I'm curious to see how you would make the sort of connection between past and present of their connection, because the Sixth Sense, seeing ghosts, is literally in the opening scene. So
I know, but I like the whole Sixth Sense thing. To me, I guess it makes sense, and that's why she has this connection. But I just, this it's a movie. Maybe she just goes to London. She gets really, really nostalgic and just sort of gets his connection with the past. I thought, I was like, yeah, that would have worked for me. Because I really like the first half of this film, and I like the tone, and I like what I like the beginnings of what was happening. It's just when it started to go horror, I was like, this feels sort of just unnecessary. It's like Edgar Wright wanted to make a horror movie, but I don't think this is the right movie that was built for that.
I hope it's nothing to do with it, but I love that sort of, it's a very like pulpy film thing to do, but I love when you see like sort of knives that look almost fake and really shiny, and you see like people's reflection in it. That bit I loved, when you kept seeing her eyes when the knife's going down. There's like really overly red blood.
I think that's one of the things I enjoy about Edgar Wright the most is how he, is like, this is a movie, we can have some fun with it. Not everything has to sort of, be based in realism. We can have some fun with this. It can, you can recognize that this is a film. We can have some shiny knives, see reflections in. It's fun. And I always enjoy that about his movies. Even parts of Baby Driver, which I didn't love. I'm like, yeah, he's having fun with this because we're in a movie. Anything else to say about Last Night in Soho, guys?
No.
Nope. Let's get to the ratings. Jack, out of 5.
3.
3. I'm also going to go with 3 out of 5.
Yeah. If I watched your version of her being pimped out, I'd give her a 2.
I'm going to give it a 3.5.
3.5.
I would be close to, if I watched it again and I enjoyed it just as much, I think I'd be close to giving it a 4 if it sort of delivered on a second viewing. So I will watch it again.
It's so rare that Cal. You what?
I'll watch Baby Driver again, actually. See how I feel about
that.
I've watched it a few times, and honestly, every time I've watched it, I've liked it less. So
it leaves a taste in your mouth now, doesn't
it? Yep. Definitely does. Some interesting casting.
It's also so rare that Cal rates a film higher than both of us.
Yeah. We should commemorate this.
Is this a keeping it first?
It's because I had better points.
It's because I'm right.
He's seen it fresher than us as well. I stick by all my points about that ridiculously pleasant young man. He was it was almost like sci-fi how nice he was. Like, it was out of this fucking world.
There were ghosts and everything in this movie. We had a bridge to the fucking 60s, but this guy was the most unrealistic part.
Yeah, him being so understanding and not once calling her mental.
This guy really wanted to get laid.
Yeah.
You seen Ghost? Yeah.
And then he basically got glassed. He got glassed, didn't he?
Well, he had to John McClane his way out of that apartment.
Yeah. Past the poisoner.
Oh yeah, he could walk fine the next day as well.
I said that during the movie. I was like, what about his feet? What about his feet? Still barefoot, still bleeding around the library.
He's used to walking on fucking eggshells around everybody all the time. Not to upset anybody. So I'm sure a bit of shards of glass is fine.
Right, we'll end it there. That's it for our review of Last Night in Soho, guys. If you're watching on YouTube, let us know what you thought of the movie in the comments below. If you're listening audio only, then make sure to tell us your thoughts on the film on Twitter at Keeping It Real UK. From there, you can find links to all of our pages. Make sure you've subscribed because we've got a few reviews coming out this week, so look out for them. Have a great week and keep it real. Say bye, Jack.